It's just what we do here in the Sportsocracy.
But we have news that has already broken, and it's not so good if you're a fan of nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Not so much. Von Miller is going to miss at least the first 4 games of the 2023 season.
And now on its face, that doesn't sound that bad.
No.
Until you realize how competitive the AFC is, and you play 2 division games in that 4-game stretch. Now, the other 2 are against the Washington Commanders and the Las Vegas Raiders. So, I don't think you're going to have a problem there.
No.
The last time you played Washington, I think you beat them 416-4.
It may not matter all that much in the New York Jets game, depending on how that offensive line is going to look. It may not matter. You may not need Von Miller to get the pressure on them.
I think it matters.
It might.
I think it matters in both.
Maybe.
I really do. I think it matters in both, and I think the Buffalo Bills lose both. You and I have been working on our preseason prognostications that we'll be putting out team by team on the Tic Tac and the Instaface and all the other things. And then they made a deal today that it doesn't seem like a big deal until you pair it with that Von Miller thing. Trade Boogie Basham to the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And now look, this is a guy that only had less than 600 snaps in 2 years with the Bills. But he's still a talented pass rusher. The Bills' defense is predicated on being able to get home. Now you're counting on Greg Rousseau, Leonard Floyd, A.J. Epinesa, and Shaq Lawson. Now, you're also counting on Leonard Floyd to do it with his hand in the dirt, which he historically has not been as good at that as he is standing up. If you can't get to Aaron Rodgers and you can't get to Tua Tagovailoa, you cannot beat them. Mm-hmm. If you start off with 2 division losses, you are not winning this division.
No, you will not be able to come back from that.
As you went down the rabbit hole when the Von Miller news broke earlier, you don't even have them making the playoffs.
I don't.
You went further than I did.
In my final prognostication, I just didn't. I mean, that's a very, very tough schedule. And this team has holes. And the offensive line as a whole and the defensive line as a whole.
And you know why it has holes?
Why?
For the exact reason of what happened today. You trade Boogie Basham because in your mind you missed on that second-round pick. Do you realize that of their last 5 second-rounders, not including the one that they used this year on Osiris Torrance,
mm-hmm.
one of those guys is left on the roster? You can't be that bad in the second round. First round, you got to hit 60% at minimum. Second round, you got to hit 50% at minimum. Everything from then on is kind of a crapshoot, but you miss on picks to that level, you're going to have deficiencies. And now I'm looking at this roster going, I'm not really as scared of the Buffalo Bills as I have
mm-hmm.
been.
Mm-hmm. You said without Von Miller, they could lose those first 2 division games. I think they lost them anyway. I picked them to lose both of them anyway.
I look, I've said from the jump, the September 11th in New York, Aaron Rodgers, first start, I didn't like your chances there anyway. That's not me as a Jets fan, but it kind of is. I've read this book before, and New York rallies around a winner. Mm-hmm. And they haven't had one in a long time. Mm-hmm. There is a buzz around that franchise right now that hasn't been around that franchise in a long time. So you're walking into a buzzsaw.
Absolutely, and you're walking into a fresh team. I mean,
yes.
This is a team that has more hype than many teams in recent memory.
They're also insanely healthy, and you're not.
I mean, actually, the last time we had a team with this kind of hype, it was the last time we saw a team go out and get a great quarterback to pair with their talented roster. It was the 2020 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it was the 2021 LA Rams. And now you've got the Jets with that kind of wave coming into the first game at home. I doubted it when you first said it.
It sounds crazy when you say it on the face because Buffalo has been so consistent.
But think about
so are the Rams.
Yeah, but think about how these teams match up together, in my opinion. Because, okay, Buffalo likes to sling the ball. Okay, I got 2 of the best corners in the NFL on the other side of the ball.
And a very underrated slot corner in Michael Carter.
There you go.
You my boy, Blue.
I have a terrifying pass rush for the New York Jets.
And you have a line that's weak.
Exactly. I have a line that was the reason that we didn't go any further in the playoffs last year than we did.
Oh, and guess what? You just lathered it up with 4 of the same 5 guys you had last year.
And brought in a rookie.
Who may not even start.
May not.
The more I look at Buffalo, the more, we talk about the schedule a lot when it comes out. This is why. All right, so let's just say, for argument's sake, that you and I both agreed that they were going to lose to the Jets week 1 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to win the next 2 because you played the Raiders and the Commanders. And look, I like both of them better than you do. Buffalo's better than both of them.
Yeah, there's nothing that they can do.
Well, then you go into Miami. The way you get to Miami is the pass rush. You're not going to be able to defend Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill if he has time.
No.
Well, you just lost your best pass rusher. What happened to this pass rush last year when he went away?
Disappeared.
And now you're a guy down. Mm-hmm. But we had Leonard Floyd. Yeah, I get that. Why do you think he's bounced around this league as much as he has? Yeah, the good's really good. The bad has been fine. But if you're telling me you're going from Von Miller to Leonard Floyd, that's 4 steps down, minimum.
Yes.
Now you're going up against a Dolphin team that their biggest weakness is that they don't defend pass rush very well because Teron Armstead has an injury history, and that right tackle spot has been problematic. All right, now you could, in theory, lose that Miami game that you wouldn't have before. The big thing is what happens when he comes back. Then you go Jacksonville, New York. Both of those are in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. At New England, which is no cakewalk. Tampa. At Cincinnati. I don't think it's that untoward that 9 weeks into the season, the Buffalo Bills could be below 500. It sounds insane. And I'm telling you right now, if that's the case, you're done. You are doomed. Because the backside of that schedule, you play at the Philadelphia Eagles, at the Kansas City Chiefs, against the Dallas Cowboys. That's in Buffalo, which you should win. Catch another one with the Jets. At the Chargers, at the Dolphins again. Good luck.
Mm-hmm. You cannot fall behind in the AFC.
No, I mean, and people will say, oh, you're blowing things out of proportion. No, I'm looking around the AFC going, every team that you're competing with got better and you got worse.
Mm-hmm. And
now you don't have the diamond of your defense. How exactly am I supposed to feel as good about you as I did?
Mm-hmm. And, if you think, well, Buffalo, I don't think they'd lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, but think about this. Jacksonville will have been there already. Jacksonville's playing back-to-back weeks, right? Buffalo's got to make that trip. Jacksonville will already be there in London, so they don't have to travel.
That's a London game. I didn't even think about that.
That's a London game. They don't have to travel.
Oh, that is a London game. I didn't even think about that.
And so they're behind the 8 ball already. And then you throw in that defense, and I mean, I think it's good, but I think the Jacksonville offense can be better. That was a game that I had Buffalo winning in my final prognostication.
I'm not so sure I do now.
And
that's assuming he's back and ready to go week 5.
Right. And then you got the Bengals, you got the Chiefs, you got the Eagles, you got one with the Chargers, you got another one with the Miami Dolphins at the end of the season, plus another one with the Jets. There's a lot of landmines.
And a ton of questions in that secondary.
Yeah, there are a lot of landmines in there, and I don't think it's too out of the realm of possibility that the Buffalo Bills may miss out on the playoffs.
I have them making it. I actually have them winning the division, but I may have to readdress that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more I look at this, I don't know how you're supposed to bounce back.
Right. There are going to be a lot of good teams in the AFC this year. We know this. I feel like I need to keep stressing that because when you hear the Buffalo Bills may not make the playoffs,
sounds insane.
It sounds crazy because they've been at the top of the league for the last few years. But it's like Jeremy's been saying. Everybody else got better, and you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
At least not markedly better in any
Every team in the AFC has a shiny
way.
Every team in the AFC has a shiny new toy, and you don't. The Jets got Aaron Rodgers. Miami Dolphins got Jalen Ramsey, even though he's not going to be available until December. You look through the AFC North, they're just evil. They're all good defensively. Cleveland, I think, should have a defense now. You got a full year of Deshaun Watson. Cincinnati got a new left tackle, which has been one of their big Achilles heels for an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I keep doing that with every team in the league.
Yeah.
Every team in the conference, at least.
And would it change anything about this Buffalo team if they went out and got Jonathan Taylor?
No.
I don't think so either.
I mean, to me, and I guess this is why the market for him has been what it's been. A, we don't value running backs like that. B, you're bringing in Jonathan Taylor. You talk about the definition of bringing a knife to a gunfight. Oh, you're going up against Aaron Rodgers, who, by the way, they've already added Dalvin Cook to Breece Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Miami, I mean, I don't feel great about their running backs, but do I feel like you have such an advantage with Jonathan Taylor compared to Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson? Not really. You're better, certainly. Does it change anything? Probably not.
Mm-hmm. Von Miller missing the first 4 games of the season. Could it be that one injury, that one thing that goes wrong and costs you everything, right? They lose those first 2 games. They fall behind in the AFC East. You get behind in the AFC, and you're not coming back. There are too many good teams for you to climb that wall.
You had teams going 12-5 not making the playoffs in the AFC.
Yeah,
I did not.
2 of them, actually.
I did not. I was 11-6. But it took 11-6 and some breaks to make the playoffs. The Jets were my last wild card. And I'm going to be honest with you, Miami was right on their heels. There's a great possibility that all I have to do is flip that Miami game, which now without Von Miller, I like Miami way better than I did. And that could be enough. Jets win the division. Miami winds up as the wild card. Buffalo's out. That's how close the AFC is.
And that's exactly how my final prognostications have it going. There's a game between all of them, and it just turns out that the Bills end up on the outside looking in at the end of the day, much like the Miami Dolphins have found themselves over the last several years. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. It's cut day in the NFL. We got trades galore, too, and kickers are getting traded.